Okay, we are now back to Visual Studio Code. So I've created a new file called conditionals, right? First program still has our command line program where we're asking and calculating a trip. Right now, let's just talk about conditional statements and operations, right? Remember, in the slides, we said we have an operand, a Boolean operator, and operand 2. Okay, so just some simple exercises. Right, I'm going to define a variable called a and assign a value 5 to it. I'm going to assign another variable called b, and I'm going to assign a value called 25. And essentially what I'm now going to do here is I'm going to say print. I remember I want to show something to the terminal. Let me show the terminal. There it is. Print a, what is the result of this check? Is a equals to b, right? If you want, you can pause the video to try and do this on your own or try and guess what the answer would be. So it's basically asking, I'm basically asking, is a equal to b? However, we know that it's not. So what we should get is a false, right? And we're going to say Python conditionals.py. Hopefully, I will spell it correctly. And we get a false. Okay. We can also try this out. If I say is a not equals to b, right? What should we get? We should get a true because a and b are not the same because a has the value 5 and b has the value 25. And there you see it. A is the answer is true because a is not equals to b. So you use the conditional this comparison operator not equals to check when something is not equal to something. So it's quite useful in programming when you dive deeper, right? So another one is the greater than, right? Let's just do that one quickly. Greater than, right? Is a greater than b? Is a is 5 greater than 25? I think not. And if I run this, I should get a false. And that's what we get, right? And we clear again, and we go back up. Now, so the other operators, right? Greater than, less than or equals to. So they all work the same way, right? So the only ones where this equals, which is asking, is this equivalent or is this equals to? And the other one that we just did, not equals to, right there. And right. So now let's do something, right? We are going to create a program that takes the parameter x as an input, right? It's going to be an integer, and we're going to print true if the value is greater than or equals to 100, and false if the value is less than 100, right? So now how are we going to do that? Let me just let's write that out. Okay. Okay, so create a program that takes a parameter x as inputs, right? And we since we shouldn't assume that it's going to be an integer, we're only going to put in an integer, right? And in normal case, you're supposed to have a check because remember, like I said in the previous video, sometimes your user might not do what you expect them to do. If the value is greater than or equal to 100, false, and false if the value is less than 100, right? So how are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? We're going to create a program that takes parameter x as input. So that's a hint. We're going to use an input function. So let's start by collecting the user inputs. But first, I want to greet the user. I think that's the polite thing to do. So print good day. Let's play a guessing game, right? All right, and we can say print. We're gonna say actually it's not a guessing game. Let's just play a game. All right, so user, we're gonna say collect. Remember, comments are always good. Say user inputs to input, remember the function input, and our prompt is going to be enter a number between 0 and 100. Nope. Just enter a number, all right? Just enter a number, okay? Because we're going to check if it's greater than or equals to. So it can't be, let's not restrict the person to just 0 and 100. And, all right. Just going to want down a new line. Okay, and then what we're going to do is check. We're going to check. So actually, first thing we have to do is we have to convert user input to int, right? So we do that by saying user input, and we're going to say equals to int inputs, user inputs, right? Because that's where the user input has been stored now, right? So we converted it into an integer. Now we're going to say we want to do something. Oh, let me just do that. Okay. So what do we want to do? So the first one, if the value is greater than or equals to 100, so we say, remember, if, right? See, this is a reserved word in Python, so you can't name your variable if, right? So you see that blue, it's a reserved word. If user input is greater than or equals to 100, remember the colon, but print, we're going to print, what we're going to print? We're going to print true, and that's how we just do that. You see, that's also a reserved keyword, blue, can't name a variable that. If, or so now we can say, we can do, now let's think about this. Now, if this value is greater than or equals to 100, right? So it's from 100 and above, right? It will enter this. Now, if it's not, that means it is from 99 and below. So it'll be false, right? So we can say else, right? We don't have to put a condition. Else, because it's not, we already have a, how do I put it now? A limit. The limit is 100. Anything from 100 and above is true. Anything from 100 and below is false. So we can now say else print false, right? Because that means that this value is not greater than 100, right? So now we want to test it out, right? We want to test it out. So how do we do that? Remember, we're going to run this program, Python conditionals. Good day, let's play a game. And it says, enter a number. I want to press 99. And what happened there now? I see, because I didn't, yeah. All right, let's do that again. Remember, I had user inputs, and remember user input as a string. What you could do actually, once you do user inputs, you could just resave that variable user inputs like this and replace the value there with this conversion. But just for now, let's just keep it this way, all right? And then let's run that again. Enter a number, right? I'm going to enter 99 like I did. And false, what is what we expected, because the value is less than 100, right? Let's try another one. Enter a number. I'm going to say negative 101. False, because negative 101, number is less than 100. Let's see if the true will work. Right? Enter a number 100. And true. And let's enter a number. Let's try something. Say that should be, see how far Python can, it's a large number. True, right? Okay, so that's how, and that's just a simple exercise on conditional statements and the if and else structure, right? So now we do this